Skullcandy's Method 360 ANC launches their best wireless earbuds on paper. It is their clearest and most detailed device yet. The bass is legit, though definitely not as strong as the Rail ANC. And the Method 360 has the strongest active noise cancellation that I've used so far. But it's clear in practice, no one at the company actually tested these. They have a complete user experience breaking issue that I and others call the ghost tap. Skip to the timestamp if you're specifically interested in hearing about that. But before I talk about that, there's actually a lot the Method 360 does well, and frankly, some other really annoying issues. The Method 360 ANC uses Bluetooth 5.3 with multi-point, so it connects to two devices at once, but only plays audio from one at a time. With ANC on, these get up to 9 hours of battery life for the earbuds themselves, and 23 additional with the case for a total of 32. With ANC off, they get up to 11 hours for the buds and 29 added by the case for a total of 40. Now, this case is a total disaster. It looks cool, and the idea is that you can clip it onto your bag or your belt buckle and hope someone doesn't take it, I guess. The case itself is prone to sliding open, which can lose you your earbuds. Though I have heard the difference between the Method 360 and the Method 540. This one is that the case on the 540 has a better locking mechanism so that it doesn't slide open, and the case is a little bit slimmer. But aside from these just being a pain to manage physically, they have a lingering bug that the Rail ANC also has, but is worse on this. Often, when you put these in the case, they simply will not turn off and they won't disconnect from your phone or whatever other device you have. This happens both with or without a charge on the case. Other times, these won't activate when you take them out of the case. And in other instances, they will spontaneously turn on while inside the case. Sometimes it'll only be one earbud turning on and it will connect to your device. So you'll just be listening to something with headphones or speakers or whatever the case is, and then these will just turn on, hijack that system for no reason seemingly, and all of a sudden these are on when they should be off and charging. Something that is consistent, and this goes across multiple devices, is that when the case dies, these do get forced on. But all of this is a massive battery drainer, and it's one of the reasons I don't use these much. This entire contraption was definitely a stoner creation. Now for the controls, and that's where we get into our primary issue. The Method 360 uses capacitive touch controls. These are the default controls on screen. However, I've adjusted mine to have one touch on both do nothing. If you do end up getting and keeping these, I highly recommend that, as it mitigates the ghost taps, and if you need to adjust these in your ears, and you will, it stops a single press from actually doing anything. The Method 360's controls are extremely sensitive, so much that they will actually activate on their own and you'll hear the little chirp, and this will play or pause audio or even end calls without your input. These are ghost taps. And this isn't just a lemon. This is actually my second pair because I sent my previous pair in for a completely different issue. I'll mention that a little bit later. But they both have the ghost tap problem. Now, this issue does not seem to be universal, but you can look on Reddit and scattered in written reviews from regular people, not publications, complaining about this or trying to figure out what it is. Well, I did a bunch of trial and error testing. It's not the wind, it's not the light, it's not loud sounds, it's specifically the sun. The electromagnetism in direct sunlight will cause these to automatically activate. It might not happen with yours, but it happened with both of mine and to other people as well. And if you get one like this, the only real workaround is setting a single press to do nothing. You'll still get the chirping sound as if the earbud detects a press, and it's pretty annoying when listening to music or pretty much anything, but nothing will actually happen at least. But let's move on to the sound quality because that is the strongest aspect of these. These use 12mm dynamic drivers with a frequency response range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, and they were tuned by Bose as opposed to Skullcandy themselves. I did measure these using my mini DSP ears, though it's not industry standard. These things are way clearer than anything else from Skullcandy. Excellent sound separation, slightly elevated upper mids and treble, but not too piercing. The mid-range is scooped out and the bass is prominent as it should be for any Skullcandy device, so we are getting some of that V shape here. Not necessarily the most natural vocals, but not as extreme as the Crusher Evo. The bass has a bit of punch to it, meaning it has that fast impact, and the sub bass gets deep as well. Most people will probably love these, but this is the bass arena. If you want that deep, booming, thumping, powerful bass, probably going to want to go with the Rail ANC. These are both at their music, the stock tuning, and this has less treble here and it has more bass continuously, though there is this little hump in the sub bass that you get on the Method 360 ANC. Though if you're going with the bass boost preset, Rail ANC can just get insane with it. But just overall, it's a much warmer sound. For me, I prefer the sound of the Rail ANC, but no doubt about it, the Method 360 is clearer. So if you're looking for rich detail without the auditory masking of the bass muffling the vocals, then the Method 360 ANC is a great pick. These might be the best overall sounding earbuds that I've used so far. But unlike the Rail ANC, it does not get the bass arena approval for massive sub bass and bass. Now, the ANC on these might actually be even better than the earbud audio quality. It is incredibly effective at shutting out loud recurring sounds like cars, AC units, and fans. Intermittent sounds get toned down as well. The ANC hiss isn't too loud, and my ears tune it out quickly. The stay aware mode leans on the tinny side, but it's good for hearing if people or cars are nearby or approaching. I will say quality control is an issue here as well. The previous pair I had to send those back because they had this constant helicopter sound. It was actually coming out of the left earbud specifically only when ANC was on. It was like a constant propeller just twirling over and over in the left earbud specifically. This current one doesn't have that issue, still has the ghost tap issue though. Sadly, the wear detection feature cannot be turned off. If one earbud is out, which can happen when you're readjusting them or you just want one in, then your media will pause and the ANC will turn off. It will turn on transparency mode. So if you're just adjusting these, it's going to pause your music, going to pause your movie or whatever you're doing. And there's no toggle for it. That's just so irritating. So the Method 360 ANC mic, very similar to the Rail ANC, a little bit metallic and compressed, but it's cutting out that background noise. A lot of cars that are rushing by over there, can't really hear those. Some nature sounds in the background as well. They're picked up, but not too much. So overall, it is a little bit muffled, a little bit compressed, but very clear, a lot better than a lot of the other earbuds that I've been using. When I first bought the Method 360, it was using the Skull IQ app. They switched back to the Skullcandy app now. Honestly, there's really not a lot in this app. A lot of these tiles are just info blurbs. They don't really do anything. There's also no way to change the volume of the sound prompts, the voice prompts, telling you the battery life, telling you that it's connected or connecting, or that the ANC is on or off. You can't turn that volume down or can't turn those voice clips off. You have to hear them every single time you turn this device on, and they're so loud, very irritating. You get multiple EQ presets. You can kind of see what they do in the app, in the Skullcandy app. You couldn't actually do that in the Skull IQ app. These are honestly not the most accurate representation because custom actually, if you set that to flat, it's doing the same thing that music is doing. So you don't really get an actual somewhat flat sound signature if that's what you set it to in custom. And you do only get one custom EQ preset, but you can change the controls in here. Like most earbuds, there's no way to make pressing and holding continuously ramp up or down the volume, just one volume notch per input. But make sure that you at least use it to max out the earbud volume before getting rid of the shortcut, or these won't be that loud. And they don't really get super loud anyway, just a little bit louder than the Rail ANC. Now, when it comes to the comfort in the build, aside from the magnetic charging points, these are all plastic. They come with 3 different ear tip and wing sizes. At first, these are very comfortable to put in and they stay snugly in place due to the wingtip. But after about 30 minutes, you'll realize these ear tips don't really have the squishiness needed to create a good buffer between your ear and the hard plastic underneath. The wing falls off pretty easily when you're taking them off or putting them in the case. But aside from that, the top starts to get irritating as it digs into the folds of your ear. Now, this is a trade-off. They're honestly very uncomfortable over long periods, but they stay in. So if you do a lot of working out or running, they do their job. So they get a C in comfort, but an A in build because they actually do what they're intended to. So for my verdict, hard pass. These have some good ideas and the sound quality in ANC are actually impressive, but there are just too many issues that could have been solved with a little bit of testing. The ghost taps, bulky case, connectivity problems with taking them out or putting them in the case, no toggle for the voice announcements or the wear detection. It's just a bad user experience overall. Not Bass Arena approved. Even though the sound quality is not as clear and the ANC is much weaker, I do recommend the Skullcandy Rail ANC over the Method 360 ANC.